Well, only 2 races later comes Spa, and now this accident, listeners, if you haven't seen it, it was early on in the race, and you come up, ironically,
Yeah.
to your old teammate Eddie Irvine, and at Blanchimont, one of the fastest corners on the track, you're side by side, you make contact, and I mean, talk us through what happened next. Did it slow down like it did at Hockenheim? Did you have time to
No.
think? No.
Well, I don't remember anything. Huh? From that day, like I said, it happens in the 4th or 5th lap of the Grand Prix. I have some pictures in my mind from the warm-up early in the day. We used to have warm-up that season. And I remember about the warm-up because it was foggy. The warm-up was kind of delayed or canceled. I think it was delayed. So from then on, I don't remember anything. I don't remember the start. I don't remember anything. What I do know is that I had a bad qualify because it was kind of damp and I wasn't able to cross the line on time with the dry tires. So I crossed the line like 2 seconds too late, so I wasn't able to do my last lap, so I was in the back of the grid. In the race, I knew that I was already gaining some positions. The car was, let's say, good for the car that we had. And I was about to overtake Eddie in the entry of Blanchimont. But now answering why he lasted only 14 races is that knowing myself and remembering the pressure that I was having, the frustration that I was having, I always say it was my dreaming year being in Formula One. At the same time, it was my year of nightmares, yeah? I was really frustrated. I was sad. I was under pressure. I was lacking a lot of self-confidence because it was going to a bad situation as a racing driver.
Did Alain Prost help you with his experience?
Not
with
much.
As a racing driver, did he help you?
Not much. I think Alain was in such bad situation as well. He was always really nice to me, but no, he didn't help much because he had his own problems. He wasn't in a good vibe there, let's say. So, no, he didn't. I remember that maybe I was trying to do too much. I was trying to solve the situation by myself, which is impossible. Nowadays, with more experience, more mature, I wouldn't try to do silly things to try to make a result to happen, yeah? So, to try to overtake in the entry of Blanchimont is not very smart. It's a big risk, an unnecessary risk, you know? But I chose to do it. I was like flat out, do or die. And Eddie also made a mistake. Huh? Eddie, he tells me, man, come on. I didn't think that was the place to overtake, so I didn't care to look at it. So we both made a mistake. And what happened was, once I touched with him, he broke the front wing, and we were like 300 plus. So once he broke the front wing, the car was like with no steering. The car was like if the front wheels were almost in the air. So I was steering the car, but the car was going straight. And at the same time, he broke the tubes of the brake. So I lost brake pressure. So I had no steering, almost. I had no brake pressure. And once I hit the wall, it was a 270 kilometers per hour. It was like a huge crash. And it's not one of those crashes that the car goes crashing, absorbing the impact in many crashes, yeah? I know that looks pretty scary when the car, like we saw, let's say, Kubica in Canada. It looks terrible, but once you have the car hitting the wall, flying, you are absorbing the impact in different spots, yeah? But mine was the opposite. Like, I hit the wall and I stayed there, like a bang, one single impact. And the car was actually a really strong car. It was even overweight. It was too heavy, but it was strong. So the car managed to deal with the impact, but the body doesn't cope with it. So the brain had a huge impact. I had brain bleeding. I had to be induced to a coma. I had concussion. So it was like, I would say more than luck, almost like a miracle to be able to get away from it, because it was a huge impact, huge one.
Not only that, you had an entire tyre barrier resting on you as well. I remember those desperate scenes of Eddie trying to lift the tyres off you.
Yes. Actually, few things changing from once since that accident. The tires didn't have those blankets on top of it. So That's why my car went into the tires. It didn't absorb the impacts at all because it went into the tire. From that accident onwards, you have those blankets. Now it's a single barrier, not just tires together. We used to have also the freedom to do a hole in the helmets, to have the drink bottle in your mouths. And that's why also my helmet broke in the chin, because once you do a hole in it, you change the structure of the helmet. Since then, the drivers cannot do that anymore. The teams cannot do that anymore, which was pretty obvious, but we used to do it. I have the helmets with me, which shows, if you look to the helmet, said, man, scary, yeah?
I mean, Luciano, you were incredibly lucky.
Definitely, man, definitely. So when I get to the point to answer why it lasted only 14 races, you have to consider the whole situation, not just the accident, because that was the end of my career. The accident was actually, that was the end of it. But if you bring, since the beginning of the season, why it got me to that point, why I was in that team, why I was, let's say, overdriving, why I was taking so many risks, I have to show what happened during the whole season, not just in that particular overtaking move. There is a whole scenario to take that young driver to that situation.
How long did it take you to get over the accident, to recover from the accident?
To be honest with you, 2 years at least. I'm going to tell you something that I never said before. I wasn't ready to be driving a Formula 1 car again. So I joined Ferrari as a test driver 4 months after the accident. And although I was able to drive the car and to have some good results, to help Ferrari to develop, especially the tires and so on, I have to say that I wasn't ready for it. So it took me 4 months to jump into a racing car again. I was, okay, looking like a normal guy. On the outside, I was more or less okay. But on the inside, I was really weak. I was really...
Were you aware that you were weak at the time, or is it only in hindsight you know?
No, I was aware, but I was so fragile that I was not convincing myself that the problem was actually happening. I was thinking, maybe, man, listen, you're not balanced, you're not doing well, so forget about it. Maybe just get on with it and things will start to happen normally. But I wasn't strong enough. I wasn't feeling great. It took me 2 years to recover, to be honest with you. And at that time, I was in Ferrari for 2 years, yeah.